welcome to the deep dive.
Yeah.
Today we're tackling a subject that I bet has definitely sparked some curiosity. The, the surprisingly massive world of sexual positions.
Right.
We got our hands on this sexinfo101.com sex position pocketbook, and honestly, the number of positions,
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of mind-blowing. Over 260 illustrated ones.
It is astonishing, yeah. Really makes you think beyond, the usual suspects.
Totally.
And I think when I first looked through it, what really struck me was just how creative and varied intimacy can actually be.
Yeah.
So for our listeners, the mission today, our deep dive, is really to dig into this catalog. We want to pull out some of the most interesting bits, memorable stuff, maybe even some unexpected insights into all these nuances.
Yeah, think of it as your cheat sheet to sounding surprisingly knowledgeable on the subject.
Exactly.
A shortcut. We're definitely not going through all 260, though. That'd be,
Yeah.
well, that's more than a deep dive.
It's a whole other series.
Right. So instead, we just want to give you a taste of the depth here. And we're better to start than, something pretty familiar. Let's jump into oral sex.
Makes sense.
The book breaks it down into three main areas: 69, cunnilingus, and fellatio. And you might be surprised, I know I was, at just the sheer universe of variations within these acts that seem, on the surface, pretty simple.
Absolutely, it's deceptive.
So let's start with a classic, maybe the classic, 69.
Foundational, like you said. And the pocketbook kicks off with Easy 69, designed for accessibility, really.
Okay.
The man lies on his back, partner kneels, bends forward. Pretty straightforward setup, but there's this practical tip right away. A pillow under the man's head.
Ah, right. Even the easy version gets a comfort tip.
Yeah, and if you're settling in for a bit, that simple pillow makes a
Wait a minute.
real difference.
I bet. Okay, so things get interesting pretty quick then. We move to Ben 69. Let's unpack this one.
Okay.
The book calls this one less comfortable. Needs significant flexibility from the woman. It even suggests transitioning into it from other positions, maybe like the butler, which we'll get to.
Right.
Mentions pillows for the man's knees.
Right.
Encourages the woman to bend her knees to avoid strain. It sounds like maybe it gives a different angle, but perhaps not the most relaxing time for everyone.
Well, what's fascinating there is how just these slight tweaks to something familiar can totally change the comfort, the physical demands.
Yeah.
The Bent 69 really shows that, not every variation fits everybody. And the advice on transitioning using pillows, it just hammers home how important communication is, talking about what feels good, what doesn't.
Absolutely crucial.
Yeah.
Okay, then there's inverted 69
Yeah.
or reverse 69.
Right. Flips the script.
Literally. The book points out the man needs to hold his hips the right height. Suggests a pillow for her head, too. But the key thing here, I think, is the call for communication beforehand about thrusting intensity from above.
Ah, yes. Good point.
Makes total sense, right? You can't exactly have a detailed chat mid-act.
Huh. No, you really can't. And that inverted one, it brings in a whole different dynamic. And needing that pre-talk about thrusting just shows how different mechanics impact sensation, comfort. It's a good reminder,
Yeah.
Variations bring new things to think about.
Definitely. Okay, moving on. Kneeling 69. This one definitely ups the difficulty level. Needs core strength, balance from the man.
Yeah, sounds more demanding.
The book notes both partners probably need their arms for support, which kind of limits things to just oral, right?
It seems so.
So maybe not your go-to if you're open to, multitask, but maybe the extra effort focuses the sensation.
That's a good point. The kneeling 69 really shows how some positions prioritize one type of stimulation, oral in this case, and might demand a physical effort that rules out other stuff. It also kind of sets the stage for standing 69, hinting at something even tougher.
Oh yeah, speaking of challenging, raise 69.
Okay.
This lifts the action off the ground.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently gives the woman more mobility for grinding, and it's better for people who find kneeling uncomfortable.
Interesting trade-off.
But the book gently reminds us it can be tough on the legs. Suggests maybe it's best as a transition to other positions, like a little sexercise appetizer.
Maybe. The raise 69 brings height into it, how that shifts dynamics, more mobility for one, maybe more physical demand on the other. Using it as a transition is practical, avoids overdoing it.
Smart. Okay, next is recline 69, also called the Golden Gate. Now this sounds intense.
The
book straight up says it requires a high degree of flexibility, better for people who are already fit and flexible.
Right. Not for beginners, maybe.
The entry described involves the woman starting in a north face, it's face-sitting, then reclining and twisting. unless she's super flexible and can skip the twist. Sounds like, I don't know, Cirque du Soleil meets well.
Uh-huh. Yeah, the Recline 69 is a great example of just how far the variations go, needing some serious physical ability. That name, Golden Gate, maybe hints at the achievement level. It really shows the whole spectrum of physical demands.
Totally. Okay, a simpler twist then.
Nice.
Sideways 69
That sounds more relaxing.
comes with a built-in headrest for both partners. Sounds wonderfully civilized. Book says it's great when you're feeling lazy or want, like, true equality.
Nice.
Plus, either partner can take control just by rolling over. Love the practicality.
Yeah, Sideways 69 shows not all variations have to be acrobatics. Sometimes a simple shift brings comfort, a subtly different feel. The focus on comfort and letting either partner take control easily, that speaks to relaxation and, agency.
Definitely. Now, for those with really packed schedules,
Hmm.
sitting 69 or face off,
Uh-huh. Okay.
the book jokes, no time to lie down, no problem. Suggests most men might want a wall to lean on, free up their hands.
Yeah.
Only tip for the woman is remember to bend the knees. Efficiency.
It's a humorous nod to reality, isn't it? Intimacy happens in all sorts of circumstances. It shows how even things like time limits can be worked around with some creative positioning.
True. Okay, back to potentially acrobatic, standing 69.
Ah, yes, the
So,
peak.
the book does not mince words here. Suggests you probably shouldn't even think about it unless the lifter can comfortably scrot their partner's weight.
Wow. Okay. Serious strength needed.
Advises testing the waters with the kneeling version first. Strongly emphasizes the injury risk. Safety first, people.
Absolutely. Standing 69 is a very clear warning about the potential for injury with these tougher positions. Starting easier, being mindful of balance and safety, crucial advice.
Okay, still vertical. Wrapped 69 stand.
Wrap.
Yeah. The book presents this as a good starting point for vertical variations. Requires the least amount of balance and strength to get going.
Okay, so a progression.
The entry instructions are pretty specific. Woman does a headstand, maybe with help, then wraps her legs around the man's head and shoulders. Sounds evolved.
Involved is a good word. The wrapped 69 stand shows that progression in difficulty. A slightly less extreme entry to vertical 69, but still needs coordination, trust. The detailed instructions are helpful if you're feeling adventurous.
And finally, in the 69 world, we have the split 69 stand, aka the YMCA.
YMCA,
Seriously.
apparently. Once you're comfy with the wrapped version, this is the next level. The woman splits her legs, gives the man better head mobility, more access for oral and manual stuff.
Okay, makes sense. More access.
Well, requires more balance, more endurance. So the book wisely suggests switching back to the wrapped version if you need a break. A true test of coordination and stamina.
The split 69 stand really is the advanced level here. More access, more mobility, but higher physical demand. The advice to switch back when needed. That's key. Pace yourself, listen to your body. It's pretty amazing, isn't it? Just how many variations for one oral act.
It really is. Okay, shifting gears completely now. Let's dive into the world of cunnilingus.
Right, another big category.
Book indicates numerous variations here too, so we've just picked a few that caught our eye, seemed intriguing, starting with the butler.
The butler. Okay.
Now it says it's primarily suited for analingus, but with a slight adjustment, works for cunnilingus too.
Adaptable. And here's a practical tip. Height differences. Man can sit, woman can use heels, maybe even stools. Though, balance might become a thing then.
That's really useful. The butler highlights that adaptability, creative problem solving for comfort and access. Those height difference suggestions are great, shows how simple tweaks make a big difference.
Then there's the aerial butler. Takes the butler. Airborne.
Oh boy.
Described as tougher for women, but minimal neck strain for the man. And great shoulders and lats workout for her.
Oh, workout.
Entry is apparently tricky. The book hilariously warns about crash landings and recommends a pillow for impact. Sounds like exercise with potential side effects.
The aerial butler definitely falls into the physically demanding zone, emphasizes that exercise aspect some positions have. The warnings, the padding, underscores needing caution, knowing your limits.
Okay, back to ground level. Bent butler.
More manageable, hopefully.
This one's praised for offering some of the best oral clitoral access in the butler family. Woman should bend her knees to reduce strain. And the book slyly suggests the man might enjoy a little hand job while he's down there.
Multitasking again. The bent butler shows how specific variations optimize access to certain zones. The extra suggestion highlights combining different pleasures in one position.
Next is the leaning butler. Simple tweak. Woman leans forward, tilts her pelvis for better clitoral access. Holding her legs helps the bend. Support can be a chair, bed, wall. Huh. Interestingly, it also suggests trying it with a man against a wall, too. Gives the woman better control over pressure. Neat little adjustment.
That is neat. The leaning butler is a great example of how subtle posture shifts impact sensation control. Using a wall for support and pressure control, clever, practical.
Then we have the drive-through.
Okay.
Here, the performing partner sits on the floor, maybe leaning back, and their partner stands spread-legged over their face.
Right, I can picture that.
Sounds like it gives a lot of control to both. He can lick and suck freely. She adjusts pressure and focus by raising or lowering herself. A partnership in pleasure.
The drive-through really emphasizes that control element, how different positions empower each partner differently. It highlights that dynamic interplay, adjusting intensity and focus.
Moving into some more evocative names now. We have the eagle, also known as lunch.
Lunch. Okay.
Woman lies on her back, feet planted. Man lies face down between her legs. Praised for comfort, though elbow room for fingering is limited. Breast access is a plus, though.
Trade-offs again?
And another pro tip, pillow under her rear tilts her pelvis for better oral access, reduces his neck strain.
The eagle balances comfort with certain limits, shows those trade-offs. The pillow suggestion keeps popping up, doesn't it? Really underscores optimizing comfort.
It does. Then the folded eagle, or under the hood, woman lifts her legs toward her chest.
Ah, okay, tucked in.
Dramatically improves oral and finger access compared to the regular eagle, but needs more flexibility. Pillows under her rear, again recommended for finding the best angle. Prioritizes access over ease, maybe?
Yeah, the folded eagle showcases how changing limb position can really improve access for different stimulation types. The flexibility trade-off highlights considering individual abilities.
Then, wrapped eagle, also known as scarf.
Girth.
Woman wraps her legs around the man's head. Increased contact, more intimate. She can control pressure, guide him. Crucial reminder, though, just be sure to let him come up for air.
Essential advice. The racked eagle emphasizes intimacy, control with that potential breathing hazard. Lighthearted, but important reminder about awareness, communication, even mid-passion.
Definitely. Okay, now some face positions. First, north face or face sitting.
Right. Pretty well-known concept.
Described as cowgirl's oral cousin. All about female control over location intensity. Deemed extremely comfortable, assuming breathing isn't an issue. Easy to get into, maintain. Sounds like a winner for female pleasure.
The north face really highlights that empowering aspect some positions offer women, letting them dictate the experience. Comfort, ease of maintenance, makes it appealing.
Its 180 variation is south face, or reverse face sitting, oral cousin of the rodeo position.
Okay, facing the other way.
Offers similar perks to north face, but she's facing her partner, giving him some, quote, up-close southern exposure. Also noted as much more convenient for transitioning into a 69. Practicality again.
South face shows how a simple reversal offers different visual and practical benefits, like easier transitions. Good reminder that subtle changes enhance versatility.
Then we have the feed bag.
Feed bag. Intriguing name.
Described as perfect for men who find tilting their head back uncomfortable. Woman's weight is mostly on her legs, on his back, leaving him freer, more comfortable for oral stuff.
Addresses a common comfort issue.
She can also control pressure and pace with her legs. And his joystick should be within reach for mutual appreciation. Solution for neck strain, boost for shared pleasure.
The feed bag directly tackles that potential discomfort. Shows how positions adapt for comfort. Added benefits of female control, mutual stimulation, makes it well-rounded.
And then the aerial feed bag takes things up literally.
Yeah.
Here we go again. Woman's in a suspended bridge position, legs wrapped around his shoulders. Described as likely the most difficult form for women. Very straining on the upper body. Strong suggestion for pillows in the drop zone.
Drop zone, okay.
The book even notes an error in the illustration about arm positioning. Sounds like one to approach with extreme caution and lots of padding.
The aerial feed bag is another example of a highly challenging variation, potential risks. Acknowledging difficulty, advising padding, highlights safety, realistic assessment. Even the creators admit a flaw.
Right. Okay, back to manageable heights.
Yeah.
Deemed a very comfortable way to dine out. Little strain on either partner, especially with pillows, to keep her pelvis at the right height. She can easily adjust pressure. Again, pillows free up his hands for whatever. Comfort and versatility.
Grounded feed bag emphasizes comfort, ease of adjustment. More accessible than the aerial one. The recurring pillow theme definitely reinforces their usefulness for comfort and freeing up hands.
The kneeling feed bag is a good starting point for taking the feed bag vertical.
A stepping stone.
Lower, safer than standing. Less effort needed to keep her in position, freeing up his hands, but his genitals are likely out of her reach. Pillow under her head recommended. Safer vertical option, but a trade-off in mutual access.
Kneeling feedback illustrates that progression, ground to vertical, a safer intermediate step. The noted trade-off in access shows how positioning changes affect different forms of intimacy.
And the standing feed bag, or head rush, not for the faint of heart,
Head rush tells you something.
requires significant strength, good form to avoid injury. Padding the crash zone strongly advised. But for those who can do it and like little danger, it can be very exciting.
High risk, high reward territory.
And a quirky reminder, remember to stroke the thank you stick position just behind the woman's head.
The exu stick. Okay, adds a playful element to something intense.
Right. Okay, moving into guillotine variations now. First, northern guillotine, or Eve's ecstasy.
Guillotine, yikes.
This is for the woman who loves control. Power over her pleasure, maybe her partner's life, can be difficult for a man to maintain, so a stool for his head is suggested.
Stool, okay. Support needed.
And a crucial safety note. Remember to lift if the man taps out for air. Intense, potentially precarious.
Northern guillotine brings in power dynamics, clear female control, potential male discomfort. The explicit tap-out signal underscores prioritizing consent, awareness of limits, always.
Always. The reverse version is southern guillotine, woman facing southwards.
Reversed again.
Most women might find it more comfy using the bed for support. Offers a view of the man's body, and crucially, puts his parts within reach. Book even encourages grabbing the joystick for some tugs.
More interactive then, potentially more comfortable too. Shows again how reversal offers different perspectives, interaction opportunities. Encouraging manual stimulation highlights combining pleasures.
Then some hospitality positions. Northern hospitality, or earmuffs,
Earmuffs. Oh,
offers great access to both breast play and clitoral stimulation during oral. Even comes with a thigh pillow to prevent neck soreness.
a thigh pillow. Thoughtful.
Only downside mentioned is limited visibility of the man's body, which might be a plus for some. Sounds cozy and pleasure-focused.
Northern hospitality prioritizes comfort, stimulating multiple zones at once. That thigh pillow detail shows attention to maximizing comfort.
The 180 twist is Southern hospitality, man in front of the woman.
Got it.
Offers many of the same benefits as Northern, but with a view of his body, and apparently suitable for watching TV on a couch.
Combining pleasure and entertainment, efficient. Shows again how orientation changes offer different visual, practical advantages, like watching TV comfortably.
Now, for some waterfall positions, or oral waterfall, also muff diver, or even a suplex.
Suplex like wrestling.
Maybe. Might not be the easiest to get into, but deemed worth it for women who enjoy feeling dominated. Leg variations are suggested. Some prefer legs over shoulders, feet planted on the sofa can aid grinding, help him find spots. Caters to specific preferences, dynamics.
Her oral waterfall brings in desired power dynamics. Leg variation suggestions show how you can adjust to enhance specific sensations. Control.
Her aerial oral waterfall lifts her into a bridge position, legs on his shoulders.
Aerial again.
More comfortable for men,
Yeah.
apparently, but likely hard for women to hold long. Pillows in the drop zone advised. A resting seat with pillows suggested as an alternative, another high-altitude, potentially precarious one.
Yep. Her aerial oral waterfall again highlights those trade-offs, comfort for one partner versus physical demands for the other. Strong recommendation for safety measures like pillows is consistent advice.
Then we reach Pie in the Sky. Great name.
Haha. Evokes an image.
Book says it lives up to it. Offers unparalleled oral access to all of the woman's parts. Much improved access for fingering both holes. If it's hard to hold, a wall for foot support is recommended. Prioritizes comprehensive access.
Pie in the Sky emphasizes maximum accessibility for a wide range of stimulation. Focus on thorough exploration. The practical wall tip makes it more attainable.
Moving to servant variations. First, just servant.
Okay.
A good servant knows what to do on his knees. Higher altitude version of the eagle. Equally comfy for women, much more comfy for men, reduced neck strain. Great access for fingering too. Win-win for comfort, versatility.
The servant position shows how elevating one partner shifts that comfort access balance, combining oral and manual again highlighted as a benefit.
Folded servant or under the hood, revisited. Woman lifts and pulls legs towards her chest.
Right. Folded again.
Offers easier access to both vaginal and rectal areas. Makes oral and fingering more comfortable. Only noted downside is loss of her view, unless she spreads her legs a bit. Practical considerations.
Folded servant again emphasizes how leg changes significantly improve access. The humorous note about the view adds levity.
Mixed servant is basically a reminder to break symmetry, explore combinations of other servant variations, keep things interesting, maybe discover new pleasures, encourages experimentation.
Right, mixed servant underscores the value of experimenting, breaking routines, encourages a playful, exploratory approach.
Wrapped servant. Woman lifts and wraps legs around the man's neck,
Wrapped again, intimate.
increases skin contact, allows her to squeeze for more pressure, though he might appreciate an air break now and then. Pillows, again, recommended for his comfort. Intimacy and pressure control are key.
Wrapped servant highlights that interplay. Intimacy, pressure control, needing awareness of comfort. Consistent pillow advice, too.
And finally, in cunnilingus, under the sink, aka Captain Morgan.
Captain Morgan pose. Okay.
Standing position gives the woman lots of control. She can squat, tilt, lean to control pressure, location. Various furniture can be used for support. Female-controlled standing option sounds empowering.
Under the sink emphasizes female agency, control through posture, movement. Furniture suggestions make it more accessible in different settings.
Phew. Okay, that was a pretty deep dive into just two categories of oral sex. Who knew there were just so many ways?
It truly highlights the incredible diversity, the creativity within human sexuality.
Yeah.
What stands out isn't just the sheer number, but the detail provided practical advice on comfort, access, even safety.
Absolutely. So what's the big takeaway for our listeners?
Yeah.
Hopefully it's realizing this world of positions is vast, way more than you might have thought.
Right.
Armed with this knowledge, even just this fraction of the 260-plus sphere, you've got potential to explore new pleasures, maybe address comfort issues, inject some novelty.
Precisely. And it's not just the physical act. The names Face Off, Golden Gate, Head Rush, Pie in the Sky, they speak to the creativity, the playfulness that can be part of it all.
Yeah,
It's a reminder that intimacy can be physically and mentally stimulating.
totally. Who knew a pocketbook could offer so many, aha moments? So we encourage you, maybe look back at the outline, see if any names or descriptions sparked curiosity. Perhaps do a little further research on your own. Wink, wink.
Yeah. And this whole deep dive, it kind of raises a bigger question, doesn't it? If even seemingly basic stuff like oral sex has this surprising depth, this range, what other aspects of connection, of pleasure, might hold similar undiscovered potential? Something to think about long after this conversation.